Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to read you Sean Hannity's text messages according to a couple of publications, and I'm looking at a screenshot here according to one reporter at Courthouse News. I don't have Twitter, but I'm just looking at her Twitter profile that anybody can look at, and you can see the text messages. So text between Sean Hannity and then White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany. Sean Hannity, me too. And Eric and Lara were great. Also Jared. Key now, no more crazy people. Kayleigh McEnany, yes, 100%. Okay, number one, no more of a certain talk type of discussion. 2, yes, impeachment and 25th Amendment are real, and many people will quit. 3, he was intrigued by the pardon idea, exclamation point, in parentheses, Hunter. Now, I don't know what that means, but there's almost certainly more to it than what the Daily Beast or what the Guardian or what Mediaite or others have reported. Okay? Then 4, resistance, but listen to Pence's thoughts to make it right. 5, seem to like attending inauguration talk. Okay, so then Kayleigh McEnany, love that. Thank you. That is the playbook. I will help reinforce. Thank you for your help. You are doing a great service for our country. All right. Number 1, the Daily Beast writes, "Oh, well, there's no proof. There's no proof at all that he actually did anything wrong, Hunter. Okay, he wouldn't really need a pardon. And this was all only to smooth over possible, or the what happened 2 years ago on that fateful day that I condemn." Here's the issue. The issue is that Hunter's emails show not only pay-to-play schemes, but very likely criminal activity. You can't be on the board of directors of a country now being invaded while your father is president right now. Okay? What a coincidence. Countries invaded under his watch. Years back, he boasted and bragged, mashed potato brains Joe, of withholding $1 billion. So you withhold $1 billion. Until they forced out a prosecutor that, according to Rudy Giuliani, wanted to investigate the company, the very large, possibly very corrupt company that was hiring Hunter to the tune of like 80 to 100 grand a month, something like that. And you have the then vice president stating that, you're not going to get $1 billion. And then the people in the country now that Democrats, love and I want safe as well, those people told Joe, you don't have the right. And then Biden said, go call President Obama. They didn't even think he had the right to withhold $1 billion. It's you can watch the actual where I believe it's the Council on Foreign Relations. And he's withholding, he's saying, you better go ahead, fire that then prosecutor, and then if you don't, you're not going to get $1 billion. And then he was so proud that they fired the prosecutor. Now, again, really smart people said, well, that's not true. It was U.S. foreign policy. Really? Where was it U.S. foreign policy? President Obama made no mention of it. When was the last time also a Secretary of State or anyone, a vice president, forced out an official in another country and did so by withholding $1 billion in loan guarantees? When was the last time that happened? Is there a precedent for what Joe did? No, there's no precedent. And so that's linked to emails showing if that was just that, you might say, well, you know what? Here, fact check, Trump revised false narrative on Biden. And false narrative? It's not a false narrative. The narrative exists. You can dislike it or not like it or approve of it or disapprove of it or disagree with it. The narrative exists for a reason because there's suspicion. There's suspicion there, especially with emails This is an October 15th, 2020 article. This is this is during the time we found out that Hunter's emails stated from that company, how can you use your influence on the company's behalf? So we'll get to the alleged pardon, but here, you have an issue. The Post story and Hunter's emails, which may or may not be authentic, don't support Trump's claims. Oh, yes, they do support Trump's claims. They do support Trump's claims because there are emails showing that people wanted favors from that company and then from that corporation that was hiring Hunter as on the board of directors, and they received beneficial treatment with coincidentally, always a coincidence, definitely no link to money being paid to his son. When the vice president forces out a prosecutor that's going to investigate, according to Rudy Giuliani, the corporation that's paying Hunter, and there are emails from that corporation to Hunter saying, how can you use your influence on the company's behalf? Then there's the issue of Biden actually meeting his son's business partners and lying about it. We know that from the emails. 19 times at the White House and other government facilities or buildings. At least one where the vice president met his son's business partners. Could you imagine if the tables were turned? Then it was 10%. Hunter gives 10% of his income or earnings from these business deals to his father, Joe, the sitting vice president at the time and the future president. So, yeah, the Biden campaign says, so the only way to refute the narrative, the false narrative allegedly from Fact Check, is the Biden campaign says, other people say, another story in the New York Post. Okay, no, it's always, we spoke to smart people and they disagree, but there's no evidence refuting, there's no way here. Earlier this year, the Times reported that the Kremlin hacked that company's computers. It's the New York Post reported, and so therefore it must be the timing of the Kremlin campaign mirrors the hack we saw in 2016 against the DNC. We don't even have categorical proof of that. The DNC servers were never given to the United States government. The United States government just simply accepted the third-party tech firm's assessment that, yes, there was a plot of the Kremlin to inform everyone that Bernie Sanders was cheated, thus forcing Debbie Wasserman Schultz and three or four other officials to resign in disgrace for cheating Bernie Sanders in a primary that wasn't fair and neutral. Then we get now to Hannity. And hit subscribe to this channel. Hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel, the Bitcoin Crash channel. If you want to support my work, my Patreon is below. I told everyone what would take place with the market and the economy in September of 2021. Go to the description section. Watch the first segment of that playlist. That was 8 months ago, people. But here, there's no evidence that they refute any, there's no suspicion. You shouldn't be suspicious of Joe or Hunter, because this factcheck.org, there's no way to refute the fact that he forced out a prosecutor, and his son's emails show why he forced out a prosecutor. That's 8 minutes into 2 sentences. Okay? At the time, the international community and anti-corruption advocates in Ukraine were calling for the removal. So what? What does that even mean? The international community is not relevant here, and most of the international community just happens to always side with what the Democrats want. Oh, they want to tank their economies? We tank our economies too. Oh, it's just a consensus among the smartest people in the world. Now we have record highs in inflation. At the time, an anti-corruption advocates in Ukraine, or were there any anti-corruption advocates who were against what took place? Or all the anti-corruption advocates in Ukraine sided with Biden? This is like the most vapid semantic games. So now we get to the Sean Hannity emails. or text messages. Okay, who knows? I think there's probably a lot more to it. Maybe a bargaining chip. There probably was it was a bargaining idea. Hey, you know what? We'll pardon Hunter, but lay off. That type of thing. It was probably proposed. And they said, nah, go ahead. Try to investigate us. We have DC, we have media, we have intel agencies. You're not going to get us ever. Something like that. Who knows? But it certainly wasn't, oh my God, we're so afraid. Let's propose a pardon of Hunter to smooth things over. They're going to impeach Joe Biden on the Hunter emails because he lied. They were obviously, just like the foundation, with 20% of U.S. uranium capacity sold eventually to the Kremlin because that company was taken over by that country. There's a reason people give money to Hunter or the foundation or to Democrats. There's a reason. It's not because they're altruistic and they're like, oh gosh, you know what? I can either give to cancer research or to Hunter or to the foundation of Bill and Hillary. I can either go ahead and give to some noble philanthropic organization or the foundation where hundreds of millions of dollars are going in from corporations, from countries, from billionaires. Or the same thing with Hunter. They're doing it for favors. If the tables were turned, my God almighty, they would be suspicious beyond belief and they would investigate. That's the point here. With Democrats, they're never suspicious of themselves, but they're always suspicious of Trump, yet they find nothing, and then they just try to stifle any investigation. Or you have Comey stating, gosh, Hillary didn't really intend to use servers outside of the United States government and transfer top secret intelligence onto them. So how that was done, nobody knows. By the way, I want a Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump 2024 or a Hillary DeSantis 2024. That'd be fantastic. I swear to God, I want that. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. Very likely there's a lot more to it than just Sean Hannity wanting to wanting a pardon of Hunter, just to smooth things over. It was probably either a negotiating tactic or a joke or taken out of context. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. I'll be back in a couple of hours. Thanks, everybody. Go to the Stock Market Crash channel right now and the Bitcoin Crash